Hey, how y'all doing? This is Mongo Slade, and today we're going to talk about MLW from December the 16th, 2020. So the show started with Alexander Hammerstone and Richard Holiday pulling up in a nice car, a very nice car. Alicia Etute was there to be to tell them, ask them questions, and all that type of stuff. And then Richard Holiday kind of, what did he say to her? He said something about like nobody's talking about her, nobody likes her, whatever. And then Alexander Hammerstone kind of puts him on blast and like, oh, you was just talking about her. And while as they were bickering about that, about Holiday being put on blast, they get attacked by some goons. I don't know where these goons came from. They weren't suits, so they beat him up pretty easily. And Hammerstone was going to jam one of the heads of the goons into the nice car, and Richard Holiday was like, no, the car is in my name. Don't do that. So he kind of threw the guys to the side, and then he says, what was up with that? And then Hammerstone was like, I was trying to, destroy this guy. And he was like, no. Telling Alicia I was talking about her. So it started off kind of funny. I like Richard Holiday. He is, I just think he's funny. He's an entertaining guy. So then we get a double debut for the first match. And to be quite honest, I did not care. It was LA Park Jr. versus Buku Dao. Buku Dao LA Park Jr. is the second son of LA Park. The other son of LA Park is called El Hijo de LA Park, which is in English it is the son of LA Park. So Los Parks is now three different people. It's LA Park, who is the La Parka from WCW, El Hijo de LA Park, which is his son, and La Parka Jr., which is also his son. Buku Dao was brought to the ring by TJP, who I guess is TJP's protege. You could certainly do better. I mean, you could certainly do better than TJP. Anyway, this match was a bowl of yikes. I didn't really care about this match at all. Mainly because I didn't know either one of these guys. Buku Dao, they did a short interview with him. He was super excited, talking about he's gonna make TJP and all of Vietnam proud. And then they showed him, and he's a shrimp. He's like literally 4'11" or something like that. He's basically a midget. I don't know what it is about these wrestling companies. They want to book midgets, and LA Park Jr. is a pretty big guy. He's not 8 feet tall or nothing like that, but he's a lot bigger than this dude. And they just they insist on booking these really short guys to be equal stature with bigger dudes, and not and I don't mean like they win matches, because Buku Dao did win this match, which didn't bother me as much because I didn't care. But you also have the simple concept of you shouldn't stand toe to toe with people a lot bigger than you. Like, I'm talking like trading chops and trading kicks and trading punches. Like, dude, play the size game. If the guy is smaller and he's going to win, at least put the bigger guy over by, it being a nice little roll up or a badass submission hold that the big guy couldn't get out of, or something like that. Like trying to, push them as being 50-50, and the guy is half the other guy's size. It's like, come on, bro. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. Also, it was kind of weird that TJP did not stop LA Park, who was beating up Buku Dao outside the ring. He didn't seem to care. He didn't go over there and stop it. I'm gonna have to go make a video on how this tragic mistake just keeps happening in wrestling, and it's bothering me about babyfaces not doing anything. So they did ACH and Tom Lawler, which is the main event of the show. They did a sort of vignette between the two of them, basically talking about their strengths and weaknesses. And ACH said that he's changed his game a lot since the last time he wrestled Tom Lawler. He's showing a lot of resilience now. So even though Lawler can technically knock him out whenever he wants because of his MMA background, he's tougher and stronger and all this sort of stuff. Lawler says that ACH may be a better high flyer, maybe a better athlete, but he's mentally incapable of keeping up with him, and he's a better fighter. So that was all fine. So then we get a Jordan Oliver promo, which there needs to be like an international promo class, and I'm talking like across the globe. I know Jordan Oliver is from the United States, I'm pretty sure, but there needs to be like an international promo class where every wrestler, period, in order to get on TV, should have to at least attend 3 of these classes. because there have been so many guys who simply cannot cut promos, and Jordan Oliver is one of them. He's really bad. So he started talking about how he's addicted to beating Simon Gotch's ass, and he wants more of it and all this type of stuff, because they got into a fight during the tag team championship match. I believe it was 2 weeks ago, during the Von Erichs versus Contra unit match. Injustice ran down to the ring, and some other guys also ran down to the ring, and Jordan Oliver got a black eye from that situation. So apparently Simon Gotch had beat up Cotto Brazil, who is, I guess, the Kofi Kingston analog for MLW. He was a member of Injustice along with Myron Reed and Jordan Oliver. And Simon Gotch supposedly ended his career, quote unquote, which I guess means that Cotto Brazil's contract is ended and he decided not to renew. So now Jordan Oliver wants to match with Simon Gotch at the Kings of the Coliseum on January the 6th. And I guess that match will be granted, I'm guessing. But Jordan Oliver shouldn't be talking. There's so many guys who are really athletic. They just have zero personality. Just absolutely devoid of personality. And it's embarrassing. It really, like, for a business that's supposed to be theatrical, over the top, everybody's loud and boisterous and all that type of stuff. This is for this industry, to be that industry that I grew up with. There's a mind-numbingly amount of boring ass people that are entering the business now. You need to get rid of them. Like, it needs to start. Well, we need to continue going back to doing what we never should have stopped doing, and that is treating people who have no personality like absolute job guys who get beaten a minute and a half, and that's it, and that's the end of it. This proliferation of guys just being, oh yeah, we're gonna showcase your athletic skills. It's like, you have a boring personality. We beat you in 2 minutes. Go learn how to get over. Go learn how to be, a personality. Play a character or something. Put a mask on or something. They put too much time and energy into these dudes who just have no personality. And literally, if you have no personality, you have no future. So, whatever. The second match was Mods Kruger versus Ben Heavy and Daniel Starling. It was a squash match in 58 seconds. They told us that Alexander Hammerstone was being held backstage because he really wants to get at Mods Kruger. We didn't see this, though. We just heard about it. The commentators told us about it. I don't like that. What would it really have cost you anything to show some referees and some officials or something like that holding Hammerstone back? No, it wouldn't have cost you nothing. Both men were put into a body bag after Mods Kruger beat them. No big deal. Then we get more we don't see it stuff where you get the sounds of fighting, and we're told that Hammerstone and Mods Kruger are fighting backstage, and it's gotten so rowdy back there that they had to lock down the building. And I'm like, you don't see any of this stuff. And then they finally give you some footage, and it's basically shaky camera stuff pointing at people's feet. That was pretty much it. I'm like, okay, if you don't want to show them having contact, which I did say that, the less contact, the better. Mods Kruger did beat up Hammerstone, put him out of business for a month. Okay, you don't want to have them make contact. Okay. But you could at least have like Hammerstone outside the building trying to get back in or something like that. Or you could have had Hammerstone get distracted by somebody else, or it's literally something else. Don't tell me that something is happening and have the sounds of guys grunting in the back, like, it sounds like Donkey Kong Country. Like, no, I don't care about that. Like, that's not good. That's not good. So we get a Selena De La Renta promo, which was actually her being witchy again. So she talks about, people say that she's a traitor, but, how quickly do they forget how powerful she is, and that she's the hand who fed them, and that her power goes beyond the talents that she provides to MLW. And then she says, she knows some really evil people, and, she stared evil men in the face and they stare back. And then she says that she's going to bring Mil Muertes to MLW. And I was like, okay. Now, like I said before, we kind of have a lot of monster characters in MLW, because you do have Mods Kruger. I guess they got to blow the heat off of Mods Kruger by having him get beat. You also have Jacob Fatu. You also have some other members of Contra Unit, which are pretty much monster type of characters. And now they're going to introduce Mil Muertes. For those of you who don't know, Mil Muertes was the Undertaker-like villain from Lucha Underground. He's also known as Ricky Banderas. Ricky Banderas was from Wrestling Society X. He's a Puerto Rican wrestler. He also played He was also in TNA. What was his name in TNA? Oh, it's going to come to me eventually. El Macias. That was his name. Whew, came to me right in the last moment. His name was El Macias in TNA. He's actually, he's a kind of a deathmatch goof, but he's a big dude. He's a little older now. He's like 40 something, mid 40s, late 40s. So I don't know how much effort they're gonna have to put in, but it ought to be pretty good for the standing of people who are interested in sort of Mil Muertes as a draw for MLW. And bringing in elements of Lucha Underground, I'm cool with that. Lucha Underground was very popular, despite the fact that it died on the vine in like 5 seasons, like 4 seasons or something like that. But that was mainly because a lot of people didn't have El Rey Network, But and it was also very expensive to shoot that that program because of the excessive amount of editing they had to do, and they didn't spend any of that money on talent. But I'm glad Mil Muertes is going to be brought to MLW. That ought to be a fun addition to the program. I just don't know how you're going to have, all these supernatural evil guys, and then you're going to have all these MMA fighters and stuff like that mixed in too. There has to be a bridge or something between the two, because it's going to look very schizophrenic when you're going to have very realistic guys like Tom Lawler and King Mo, and then you're going to have witches and devils and evil stuff. It's like, okay, I know that people are kind of like, well, wrestling does that anyway, because look at Impact, look at WWE, look at AEW. It's like, yeah, and it always looks strange. Like, if you can throw fireballs, why don't you just throw fireballs? I know that's kind of stupid, but you're asking for too much. Like, that's one of those SpongeBob, how does SpongeBob have a barbecue under the water type of questions. Like, once you start asking those questions, you need to just tune out, because you're trying to apply like really deep, serious logic to something. But I like the idea of Mil Muertes being brought in. I think they're probably going to tone down a lot of the supernatural elements of Mil Muertes and then basically just add it to his backstory. When he gets into like a wrestling situation, he's just going to be a wrestler, which is fine. That's cool. I'm interested. Selena De La Renta is really good. She's hot. She's hot as fuck, and she's young. Her promos are a little stilted, but the content is actually pretty good. The content is good, and she executes it really well. And she looks evil. She looks like a devilish, Spanish woman, and she speaks Spanish seductively, and she sings actually pretty creepily too. When she's singing about Mil Muertes, it's kind of creepy. Like, she knows how to do what she's doing. Like, what she's doing, she's really good at it. So that's fine. So the main event of the show was Tom Lawler versus ACH, the semifinal for the Opera Cup. The winner of this match will face Low Key. Tom Lawler won. The match was mostly a ground match, which you would think from the previous promo would have favored Lawler, but Lawler spent a lot of his time trying to get out of like headlocks and different things like that. But there was some really good grappling going on there. And Lawler once again wrestled in Daisy Dukes. Probably the best series of moves in this match was ACH fighting out of the corner. He, did like the Chun-Li kicks. It was kind of like the Chun-Li kicks to get Lawler off of him, and then he used the Tiger Driver, and it was a 2 count. And the finish came from ACH trying to do a frog splash from the top rope. And Lawler got his knees up, and then he cradled him while from that position, and he pinned him. So then after the match, Filthy Tom Lawler listed all the names of the people who had won the Opera Cup and said we're one step away from adding his name. And that, once he wins the Opera Cup, once he beats Low Key again, because I guess he said he's undefeated against Low Key. Once he beats Low Key again, then the Opera Cup might as well become a crown, because he's going to be the king of the mat. And that was it. So this was actually one of the weaker episodes of MLW. I honestly didn't enjoy any matches. Like, most of the matches I was kind of like give or take. So I didn't really get a lot out of this episode, so it was fine though. Like, it wasn't nothing offensive. It was nothing terrible happened, but it was just kind of like, usually MLW episodes are a little bit more frenetic than this. There's usually a lot more promos, a lot more personality stuff, and we didn't get a lot this week. So it was kind of disappointing, but they're still building something there. And the Kings of the Coliseum episode, like, it might be pretty good. You know, they're building the Leo Rush, Myron Reed as probably as the main event for that show, which ought to be fun. You know, Leo Rush is out there getting it in, you know, doing a little bit of everything. So it ought to be nice. But yeah, we need to go to, we need that international promo class. But thank you guys for listening. I'll talk to you guys later. If you are so inclined, hit the Cash App button. Also hit the like and subscribe if you care about what I do. So find some way to support the channel, even if it's just a like. I can appreciate that too. Thank you, and I'll talk to you guys later.